Well, I had to move fast, and I couldn't with you around my neck. I said I'd send for you, and I did. What did you expect? My hands are sweating, and we haven't even started yet. I'll go along with the charade until I can think my way out. I know it was all a big joke, whatever it was about. Someday, maybe, I'll remember to forget. Welcome to Songs of Experience, a Bob Dylan podcast, where we explore the man and the music one song at a time. I'm your host, Henry Bernstein, and I'm very pleased to welcome my first international guest, Elle Paniche, coming to you live from Venezuela, here to talk about Tight Connection to My Heart off of Bob's 1985 album, Empire Burlesque. Hi, Elle.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so excited. That's all I have to say. I'm actually excited.
That's great. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, believe it or not. Before we get into the actual song, though, I got to ask, how did you get into Bob Dylan? Like, what's your Bob Dylan origin story?
How much time do you have? This is a long.
we got as long as we need to. Okay.
Okay, it's a long story. So let me take you back to 2022.
I remember it well.
In the summer of the. Yeah, me too. I was in Beatles Twitter. I feel like if you know, you know. I was in Beatles Twitter, and I was really researching about George Harrison because I love the Beatles. I love George, and I've always been a George fan. And of course, naturally, when you research about George, you're gonna come across Bob. But I didn't like Bob Dylan. I hated him. I hated him because I thought he's an asshole. Because you know why? Because I remember he said some slight comments about the Beatles music, and I've always been a hardcore Beatles fan. So I was like, he's so pretentious. I'm not gonna get into his music. I don't care that everyone is obsessed with him. I don't care. And of course, naturally, when you like classic rock, a lot of people that you listen to are obsessed with Bob Dylan for some reason. Well, we know a reason.
Well, we know the reason, yeah.
Yeah, but back then,
spoiler alert, we're here.
But back then, I was like, I was watching anthology, the Beatles anthology series, and I remember there's like a scene where the Beatles talk about their obsession with Bob and how much he meant to them, and I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I have a few friends who are huge Bob fans, so I asked them, send me some Bob Dylan songs. I want to know what's the tea. Like, I want to know. And I listened, and I remember my friend sent me Lay Lady Lay, and I was so turned off.
That is a very interesting first song to send when when you ask some Bob Dylan fans to send you. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad choice, but like, it's just interesting. Like, maybe it would have been like number 12 or 13 or like 20 that I would have sent you before.
Honestly, probably 30th. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because and now that I look back, I'm like, why did she send me that song? Oh, he sounds like Kermit the Frog. I'm like, okay, then I listened to Boots of Spanish Leather, and I was like, I love this song. So it was the first Bob Dylan song I saved, and after that, I was turned off. I just okay, that was the only song I like. I only like this song. Whatever, Bob, you're not that good. Whatever, gonna move on with my life. So winter break. So I looked him up, and the worst thing that you can do is look at famous person on Pinterest, because that's when you know you're gonna get hooked.
You looked him up on Pinterest.
I looked at him on Pinterest. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, he's kind of cute. So my friend sent me to Ramona. I love that song, and you know I love that song.
Yeah, we've talked offline about how much you love that song.
I'm gonna talk about that as well here, because it's like it ties all together. It all ties together.
Yeah.
And I listened to that song. I was like, I was moved. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, Bob. So then I listened to Positively 4th Street. Great song, Bob Dylan's greatest. So then, just that's how the hyperfixation just slowly crept into me. And then Christmas time came around. I was very depressed, and I was laying in bed, and I listened to my music on shuffle a lot. And I was just had my headphones in, and then the song changes, and To Ramona starts playing. And while the opening lyrics to Ramona, come closely, shove softly your watery eyes. I lost it. I legitimately started crying, sobbing. I lost it. And I just felt so moved, because I felt like Bob had come at the right time to my life. That's when my hyperfixation and my obsession with Bob started, because I realized that, oh, this guy is special. Like, he gets me.
That's beautiful. I mean, it's funny because like that is quite a short period of time to make the leap between To Ramona and Tight Connection to My Heart. But I will say, when you're in that like absorbing Bob, everything, all you can get, like it all comes fast.
Yeah, it all comes fast. Yeah.
So before I ask you about the song, just some stuff about Tight Connection to My Heart. It's kind of hard to talk about the song without talking about its precursor, which is Someone's Got a Hold of My Heart, recorded during the Infidel Sessions in April of 1983. And of course, that's found on bootlegs 1 through 3 and Springtime in New York. But the song later became Tight Connection to My Heart on Empire Burlesque. Bob took the basic track, added vocals, the overdubs in January of 85. And anyone who's listened to this track and to Infidels, like, could wonder why this wasn't included. Because like another great mystery of Infidels, like why choices were made, like why leave off
in general.
Blind Willie McTell, Someone's Got a Hold of My Heart. Like, this is what was going on then?
And like in general, like Bob has made some incredible decisions in his music career. Like, why did you leave Abandoned Love out of Desire?
Right. Well, that's like, of course, that's like the ultimate one. So anyway, following musicians played on the recording that was released on Empire Burlesque with Bob. Mick Taylor on guitar of the Rolling Stones, and that great guitar solo in Tight Connection is Mick Taylor.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Todd Perlman guitar, Robbie Shakespeare bass, Sly Dunbar drums, and then of course the Queens of Rhythm, Carol Dennis, who later became his wife, and we'll talk about that later. And Queen Esther Marrow and Peggy Blue, all on backing vocals. And Peggy Blue, of course, is who's in the video, which we'll talk about later. So,
is that her?
Yeah, that's Peggy Blue in the video.
Oh, okay.
All right, Elle. So, why Tight Connection to My Heart? What is it about this song of all of Bob's canon that made you choose it?
Because I'm different. I don't know. This song's so catchy. And I feel like if you don't like this song, you have no heart. This song is so catchy. Like, I'm a sucker for a good pop song with killer lyrics. So I don't think the lyrics are really good, but I found out that most of the lyrics are like reference to movies.
Right. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Much of the lyrics are references to a lot of film noir movies, some Humphrey Bogart movies. And in fact, it shares a quote with a Star Trek episode, The Squire of Gothos.
Oh, yeah.
The line is, "I'll go along with this charade until I can think my way out." Now, many people have attributed that to Star Trek, that Bob was quoting Star Trek, but of course it comes from a earlier Humphrey Bogart movie. Probably was what Bob was referencing. But even so, it's incredible. Like he makes reference to the Maltese Falcon, Tokyo Joe, and the Oklahoma Kid, and then of course the Star Trek episode. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of references to these movies. And the next, after the chorus, has anybody seen my love? Has anybody seen my love? I don't know. Has anybody seen my love? The thing that's so funny to me is, I don't know if you looked on bobdylan.com on the lyrics, but bobdylan.com's lyrics have all these like quirky things with them. Sometimes they have like differences in what's actually on the record or what's on a live version or whatever. This, for Tight Connection to My Heart, it has none of those lyrics, Tight Connection to My Heart, that the Queens of Rhythm are singing. It's only, has anybody seen my love? Has anybody seen my love? Has anybody seen my love? I don't know. Has anybody seen my love? So like, I just don't understand, like, of all things to change, the song opens with Tight Connection to My Heart and it's not even in the lyrics.
That's why I use Genius. That's why I use Genius. Like, I didn't even realize. Honestly, like, I was surprised when I saw that a lot of the lyrics were references to songs. And I thought, Bob will definitely be on film Twitter if he was young right now. It would be insufferable. But then, like, I was like, does this change the meaning of the lyrics for me? Not really.
Well, what are the meaning of the lyrics to you?
I mean, besides talking about a blue wig, I really don't know what that is about. The to me, it just he really is talking almost about his like path to stardom and having to leave people behind in order to move fast. I had to move fast, but I couldn't with you around my neck. And I know it's a reference to a movie, but it really references actually his life and how many people he had to leave behind. Joan Baez, for instance, and his own ex-wife Sarah. Maybe he felt like he had to sacrifice a lot. And there's a recurring theme in Bob's songs where he talks about stardom and making sacrifices and reaching for the rising star. Up to Me is one of them. And I feel like maybe this is something that he has to carry, like almost like a burden, knowing that he cannot like carry both. He always has to choose what he loves the most. And I think he just loves music and I guess not being famous, but being a star, I guess, or just like the path of music. And I think the lyrics represent that. And the pre-chorus says, I'm gonna get my coat and feel the breath of a storm. There's something I gotta do tonight. You go inside and stay warm. To me, it's like him leaving home. And I have to do something which is like touring and doing concerts and events and whatever, and leaving who you love the most behind. Like he's telling that loved one, you go inside, stay warm. Like, do not come with me with this like storm of like this chaos that being a star brings me.
Okay, so then let me ask you a question. So I think that's a amazing interpretation. I could definitely go with you on that. So then what is the chorus lamenting, and what is, for lack of a better term, the connection between the title, Tight Connection? Like, what is he saying in the chorus after sort of putting away what's behind him? And then is he just now regretful of what he just did, which is walking away?
I mean, you could see it that way. That has anybody seen my love? Like, maybe maybe that person just got tired of waiting and like tired of being inside and being warm, and like they left them behind, and now he's like coming back home. He's like, has anybody seen my love? Like, what happened to them? I think definitely it's like him being confused as to what happened. But I mean, Bob, you dig your own grave.
He goes on after the chorus, you want to talk to me, go ahead and talk. Whatever you got to say to me won't come as any shock. I must be guilty of something. You must whisper it into my ear. Madam Butterfly, she lulled me to sleep in a town without pity where the water runs deep. She said, be easy, baby. There ain't nothing worth stealing in here. The Madam Butterfly, that's sort of like a key moment of that song. I remember in like the first time I heard it, I was like, oh. And then even in the video, it's that whatever he's referencing there, like, always kind of struck my attention.
Yeah, and when he says in a town without pity where the water runs deep, I don't know how could that be? Maybe Hollywood without pity, like ruthless.
Right, water could be money, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even if he's just referencing movies, maybe he picked those exact same quotes from movies because he wanted to create a storyline. He wanted to tell the story with these references.
Right. Well,
and like be like, hey, like this is me.
I assume when he says Madam Butterfly, he's referencing the opera and the short story, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he just liked the way it sounded.
Honestly, maybe the curtains are blue. That's what people say. I don't know. The curtains are just blue and they don't mean anything else. But I love when he says, she said, be easy, baby. There's nothing worth stealing in here. Maybe this person that he's referencing, Madam Butterfly, maybe is another woman.
Well, if we're going to talk about the video, there's clearly two women. But no, totally. I mean, maybe that right. Maybe that's Madam Butterfly, because she just sort of comes out of nowhere and then doesn't appear again in the song. You're the one I've been looking for. You're the one that's got the key, but I can't figure out whether I'm too good for you or you're too good for me. And it goes into the chorus.
I love that.
That is a very Bob Dylan-y turn of phrase. And of course, maybe the best turn of phrase from earlier in the song when he says, "Someday maybe I'll remember to forget." That's such a perfect Bob Dylan thing to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get into the video, I wanted to talk to you about the live performances. So I sent you a couple live performances today. The funny thing is about Tight Connection to My Heart is it's only been played 14 times. 12 of those times in 1990 and 2 times in 1993, and that's it. So
before I was born.
Long before you were born. That means he took 5 years to play Tight Connection to My Heart. He never played it in 85, 86, 87, 88, or 89. So
that's very interesting.
And the place where he debuted it is at one of the most famous live Bob Dylan shows of all time, which was January 12th, 1990 in New Haven, Connecticut, at a place called Toad's Place, where he played about a 4-hour show. It was like Bruce Springsteen, Paul McCartney, like Taylor Swift, like
Eras Tour.
It's like right. It was like a marathon. It's a great concert. And that's where, of all places, where he debuted it, and then continued to play it throughout 1990 for like almost the rest of the tour. And it was just in the rotation, and sort of without the Queens of Rhythm and without that sort of 80s synth, it's more of like a rock song. It has kind of like a more of a melody, and there's a great harmonica in it. And then he doesn't play it again for 3 years. And then in November 16th of 1993, he played it at another famous live show that's never been officially released, and that was the Supper Club, where he did 2 nights in New York at the Supper Club, and fans had a chance to get tickets for free from a record store, which is pretty cool. And the rumor, I don't know if this has been substantiated, but that it was supposed to be, maybe it was filmed professionally and recorded, and maybe that was supposed to be what the MTV special Unplugged in New York was, but for whatever reason, Bob didn't like it and do not. It's a great bootleg. I highly recommend it. You can find it anywhere, or send me a private message out there, and I'll send you the Supper Club. But anyway, he bookended his performances of it at 2 of probably the most legendary unreleased Bob Dylan shows in the Never-Ending Tour, and then Never Again. And that version of the Supper Club is amazing too, because it's more acoustic and there's some amazing harmonica. There's like a 2-minute harmonica solo. It's just incredible. Which brings me to my next question, Elle. Have you ever seen Bob live?
That's such an offensive question.
You knew it was coming.
Oh, that's such an offensive question, because of course I haven't. I mean, I only became a fan just literally yesterday, basically. And I think by the time he was just now starting the tour, I think. Wait, I don't know if he started yet. I don't know.
Right. The Rough and Runaways tour started in 2021 and has continued since. But the Outlaw tour is this summer all across the US. So if you want to make a trip to the US, there's many places you could see it, including Chicago.
If someone out there wants me to be their sugar baby, I'll definitely do it.
All right, so there's a call out there to Bob Dylan concert goers that if anyone wants a sugar mama.
Honestly, like, I would love to see him live. Like, I think I will cry. I would genuinely just lose my marbles, because I'm obsessed with him. Like, genuinely, I'm obsessed with him. Like, it's crazy. I know. I really hope, and I hope I'm not sounding too pessimistic right now, but I hope that you do it before he passes, because
you mean come to Venezuela, or that you just see him?
No, I just see him. I don't care. I don't think he'll ever come here. But like, just like before he passes, like, I just travel to another country and get to see him. And because he's turning 83, we're recording this in May 23rd.
Yeah, happy early birthday, Bob. It's tomorrow.
Happy early birthday, baby. I love you. So yeah, I mean, he's turning 83, and I just hope I get to see him in his full glory, his full 5'7" glory.
I hope you do too, and I think you will. I have a good feeling about it. Should we talk about the video?
Yes, please.
I guess my first question is, I mean, what was your experience the first time you watched this video? And what do you think about it?
It was a trip. I was so confused. I was like, what is happening? And like, I lost so many details during the first watch that I just need to keep watching it constantly. And the more I watch it, the more I see, because it's such a detailed music video. It has like really random things that you lose sight of because you're focused on what the hell is going on. I was like, okay, why is Bob in Japan? Why are you talking about a guy in a blue wig? What, like, these girls are way too hot for you. Why are you playing in a bar? Why are you wearing a leather jacket without a shirt on? And why are you dancing?
Right. My friend Rob Kelly, of course, the host of Pod Dylan, which this new podcast, owes a lot to. He said something to the effect of that, like, in the video, Bob is such a bad actor that he has no game whatsoever. And like, he must have had game in his real life as a real person, but just in these videos, he's so awkward and weird and just has no swagger at all.
And like, this is like sidetracked, but like sometimes I say this to my friends. I'm like, how did he get Joan Baez and Sarah? Like,
I know,
those are beautiful, sexy women. And in the video, you look at him, you're like, are you okay? Like, are you lost? Like, you just want to, like, okay, grandpa, let's go to bed. And he's only 40.
I know he's wearing like the most 80s outfits that the 80s have ever 80s. He's literally wearing the jacket that he wears on the cover of Empire Burlesque.
It's so funny. Like, the video, it's so 80s, but that's why I love it, because like it's in Japan. I think that's so cool. And like the neon lights and the suits and the haircuts are like, I'm so fascinated by it all. And like, unlike a lot of people, I like the 80s. I think they're cool. And how Bob is dressed is how I dress sometimes, honestly. Like, I sometimes I dress like an 80s dad.
That's hilarious. First of all, while he's looking in a magazine, he suddenly gets arrested in his own house, but it's unclear what for. And then he's suddenly caressing the woman in black and white. Is that supposed to be a flashback? It all happens so fast. And there's something so hypnotic about this video where you're watching it and then, like, on the one hand, it's like, what the hell is happening? And at the same time, it's like, I can't look away.
Exactly. That's why I keep watching it. And of course, I love the song.
Yeah.
But it's just I keep watching it because I'm like, I'm really trying to figure it out. I really need to figure it out. It's like a secret. It's like a code that I need to figure it out because there's something happening here. And you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Jones?
Nice.
There's something happening here. And I need to understand what it is. But what I came up with, I think he gets arrested because the police thinks he killed his girlfriend, which is like perfect, Bob. Like,
but then at the end, he embraces both of them.
Oh, of course he does. Of course he does. Like, the music video is about a love triangle, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
And like, his girlfriend just leaves because they have a fight, and I think it kind of correlates to the lyrics of his girlfriend being like, you have no time for me. You're too busy being a star. And you want me to just be inside and stay warm. Okay, I'm going to be by myself, And now you're going to look for me everywhere in Japan. And everybody it's like almost like Gone Girl. Like, everyone thinks like, you kill me. And then he's so sad. He's so sad that he hooks up with another girl.
Right.
And of course, because he's Bob Dylan, he gets to have his cake and eat it too, and now they're in a throuple.
Now they're in the right, because he puts his arms around them, so then it's like, okay, is this kind of like a threesomes kind of situation going on? But then he puts his head down between their shoulders, and it's more like this maternal thing. Like, now they're both his mommy.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. It's like, oh no, you got two mommy. You're adopted by a lesbian couple now.
I mean, he's just sort of, if it's Bob, you're really having your cake and eating it too. I mean,
of course. Of course.
There are a couple of really cool things in this video. I mean, the whole video is cool, but I think it's only sort of cool ironically. But there's two super awesome things that I love about this. By the way, this is the most memeable, gifable Bob Dylan of all time. Like, anytime you type in Bob Dylan into the GIF bar, like, there's so many things from this video come up. It's so perfect. But so I love that. But his look when he's playing in the club with his Stratocaster guitar, leather jacket, and trucker hat to the side, like he invented that look 20, 30 years before it became a thing. Like he's just dripping in swag in that part. Why can't that guy have game with those girls in the video, you know?
Exactly. Like trailer parkour, like aesthetic, trailer park aesthetic. I don't know what kind of aesthetic awesome. The trucker hat. The trucker, and of course he doesn't wear with a shirt under because he never does that.
Right.
We all have to see his naked chest.
Right. I mean, we even get to see him in an undershirt, which I don't know, take it or leave it.
Wow.
It's so bizarre. And then the other thing that like just does not make any sense is that at the end, it sort of fades out with him doing a choreographed "Stop in the Name of Love" dance with the backup singers. And it's like, but that wasn't the narrative that was happening. It was, where did that come from? Why wasn't that peppered in throughout the whole thing? Like they obviously filmed a whole dance sequence.
Wait, exactly. I was so mad because we don't get to see the whole sequence. And I'm like, okay, I just want to see it. And I just want to ask who directed this video? I don't remember.
Paul Schrader. Okay.
Yes.
So Paul Schrader, he's no slouch, right? He wrote Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, The Yakuza. He actually wrote a movie called Rolling Thunder, which is pretty funny. He wrote The Last Temptation of Christ. He wrote City Hall. This guy is no slouch. He knows what he's doing. And he has a great quote about this. Paul Schrader said in 2018, "Boy, that was a mistake. I said to Bob while we were doing it, Bob, if you ever hear I'm doing another music video, take me out in the backyard and hose me down. I didn't understand music videos. I'm much too linear. I just didn't understand the free randomness of the imagery, particularly with Dylan, who's very random in his imagery as well."
I saw that, and honestly, I'm like, you're wrong, Paul, because I love that music video. I think it's great. I mean, it might not be your best work. That's fine, but we don't have to be perfect all the time. Like, it's good.
Well, it's sort of like a happy train wreck, the music video.
Yeah, and I would just want to sit you down. I'm like, who came up with the synchronized dance? Who came up with that? Was it Bob? Was it you?
Right.
Who was it?
I mean, it's pretty cool that they made a music video for this. Like, they clearly put some money into this song. It did not do well on the charts. Flop. The best it did on the charts was the Belgian charts, where it was 38. By the U.S. Billboard was 103. So it was not a hit for Bob at the time.
It tanked.
Yeah,
but I'm surprised. It's just a good song.
It's just a good song. I think it was interesting. You said melody earlier, and I was thinking, like, other than the live performances, it's sort of like void of melody. It's just sort of like da 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 da, except for the chorus, which is fantastic with the backup singers. And I mean, you could just imagine him totally blowing this out in like Budokan, with horns and bring the choreographed dancing into it. But it just sort of...
Yeah, any backup singers.
Yeah, I mean, it just sort of lives in this small pocket of time. In the last stanza, Bob writes, "Well, they're not showing any lights tonight, and there's no moon. There's just a hot-blooded singer singing Memphis in June, while they're beating the devil out of a guy who's wearing a powder blue wig," as you mentioned several times. "Later, he'll be shot for resisting arrest. I can still hear his voice crying in the wilderness. What looks large from a distance, close up, ain't never that big. Never could learn to drink that blood and call it wine. Never could learn to hold you, love, and call you mine." I mean,
I love those. Yes.
The last four lines are absolute killers.
Great.
Total bringing down the house, stinger.
Period.
Period. The end line.
Period. House, the Houston down, put the boots, mama. Yes. Period.
When Bob is singing blood, it's a good song.
Oh, yes, he loves blood a lot. I love blood too, like in lyrics.
In lyrics, yeah, I gotcha.
Blood on the tracks, of course.
No, but and that's like a very, I think, very common image to put in lyrics and poetry, the dichotomy of blood and wine. Like we've seen that before, but the way he phrases it, again, Bob Dylan, no one does it like Bob Dylan. Never could learn to drink that blood and call it wine. Like it's almost arrhythmic.
Yeah. What I love about the lyrics is that if you really think about it, it really ties up with the whole theme that we were talking about. Never could learn to hold you, love, and call you mine. So even when we were together, my mind was still somewhere else. Like, even if you were with me and I care for you, I just never learned to love you. I just didn't feel comfortable in the situation for some reason. So I love those lyrics, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they're really good.
They're wonderful. It's
yeah.
This is I think, among like Bob Dylan people and people who, were in their teens and such when it came out, I think this is actually like a bop for a lot of people, but it's sort of, I feel like it's sort of found second life. Like I know people have always loved it, but like somehow it was a commercial flop. But it's sort of hard to understand why. Like it's got a really catchy chorus in a period of time when that was the name of the game, and it has a bonkers video. And it's not like this was the only bonkers video of the 1980s. So it's kind of baffles me that this was such a flop, because it's just a great Bob Dylan song.
And the backup singers are absolute killers, like Carolyn Dennis, Queen,
yeah. I mean,
Mother,
right, yeah. And and a lot of the lyrics she's singing, it's very interesting to think about her singing "Has anybody seen my love? Tight connection to my heart," because like presumably at that time she had a tight connection to his heart, or it's
cute. That's really cute.
Yeah,
that's really cute. I wonder how she put up with all of that.
Elle, you wanted to say something about the connection between To Ramona and Tight Connection, and I wanted to make sure we got to that.
So the connection, it's just like, and this is out there, and very out there, very...
Lay it on me.
But, I think To Ramona is about Joan
Baez.
And I think, Joan Baez, my queen, mother. And then you got Tight Connection to My Heart, which is, at least the music video, it almost seems like a love triangle. So I cannot help but think maybe he's talking about the love triangle he had with Joan and Sarah. Maybe not. I mean, it's been a while. Like, he's been divorced. He's been broken up with Joan. But like, artists, what they do is that they often recall times of their lives where they had like tough times and they want to like write a song about it. Like, it's not uncommon for artists to do that, like to bring back past memories and write a new song with a new perspective, with the benefit of hindsight. So maybe he's like talking about it. Maybe he's referencing that. Maybe that's what he's referencing in the video, because like, not that we know of, maybe he was not in a love triangle during this time in the 80s. We don't know that for sure, right? We don't know. But the only love triangle that the public knows is Sarah and Joan and Bob. So maybe he was referencing that. We will never know.
Well, you say maybe, yeah. Well, you say, maybe he was obviously, we could say that about anything, but I want you to I want a definitive answer, Elle. Like, are you going on record saying that this song is about the supposed love triangle between Joan Baez and Sarah?
No.
Okay. You're saying you're speculating that it could be about that.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just
no, of course we can't be 100%.
Like putting that out there.
Right.
I'm just like, no, because I have theories. I'm like, I know I'm right. I don't care what you tell me. I know I'm right. But like this time, I'm not really. I'm just like, I don't know. It could be anything, and of course we will never know. And there are theories that I'm 100%. I know that I'm right. But with this, I'm just like, kind of far-fetched or reach. So I'm just like. I'm just saying. It's my Swiftie brain. I'm sorry.
I love it. What is there anything else you wanted to say about this before I get into a couple other questions for you?
Stream this song. Like stream it.
Stream it. You're saying go for it. Like you're telling people go listen to it. Yeah, I totally recommend this song.
Oh, what else can I say about what else can I say?
This song is on what Sony considers the essential Bob Dylan, right? I don't know if you've ever bought that. I mean, like in the 2000s when that came out, that was like it was like a big deal because like it was like basically like getting 2 discs of greatest hits. And like it's like what Sony thinks is the essential. It's pretty spot on, but it's on there. So like a lot of people who are just absorbing Bob from like a greatest hits kind of way, like, oh, the essential, I'll pick up in it. Columbia makes these great essential albums. They're here in Tight Connection to My Heart. So I mean, it's out there.
I guess no one expected Bob to be a pop princess.
Yeah.
But he is. I think and this is what I want to say. Like, I think every rock star deserves their pop era because Paul McCartney does pop sometimes. And it's great. The Beatles were pop for a while. And Paul does pop too. So Bob deserves his pop era as well. Like, let him be a pop princess. This is a good song. And if you don't like this song as a Bobcat, you're lying. Stop lying. This song is great. It might not be top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Wait, you said this is a top 10 for you, this song?
No. I mean, might not be top 10 like in general,
okay.
Like pop songs.
But it's a good song.
But it is a good song.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of answers my question. My question to you is this a good song? Is this a good Bob Dylan song? And I think we have answered it. Yes. And
period.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. And yes. Yeah.
It is a good song. I think objectively it is a good song. It's a good pop song.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said before about the video, the song also is quite hypnotic because like, at least for me, when I'm listening to it, I'm not always really paying attention to the lyrics because it's just so bonkers and all these references. But that chorus always brings me in and I'm kind of like bopping my head a little bit in the car, maybe snapping side to side, I made my kids listen to it today in the car and they didn't complain. Usually we're listening to Taylor Swift or a podcast in the car, a kids podcast. But I said, guys, got to listen to this song today. And they liked it. They liked it. So,
okay, I have a funny anecdote. So I don't drive, and my brother drives me everywhere. I was the one in charge of the music, and I will always play Bob. And Bob has some loud harmonica moment, and my brother hated it.
Yeah.
He just absolutely despised it. He was like, I cannot stand him. Like, you have to change that. I cannot stand listening to it. Funny enough, one day I played this song in the car, and he was like, you know what? That's the only Bob Dylan song I like. And I'm like,
so your brother who doesn't like Bob Dylan liked this song. Yep.
Yeah. Tight Connection to My Heart. I'm like, yeah, he likes 80s music a lot, so that makes sense. But, if my brother, who is a Bob Dylan hater, likes this song, then why don't you like it?
That's a great way to almost end on. So before we go, Elle, I have an exit question for you. You're not allowed to leave the chat until you answer the following question, okay? If you could be one character from the Tight Connection to My Heart video, who would you be and why? And this can be like within the universe. Of the movie of the video. It could be just based on vibes, whatever you want it to be. That's your question.
I have 2 choices. I'm going to tell you, like, at the end, I'm going to choose one, but I'm going to explain my options.
Okay.
1, I will be the man himself because he gets to have 2 hot girls at the end. Like, I'm sorry, like, who wouldn't want to like get 2 hot girls at the end?
There you go.
Like, yeah, that's 1. And 2, what was her name? The singer.
Peggy Blue.
Peggy. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And she looks like she's vibing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think.
You can have 2. That's fine. This is your episode. You can have 2. There are no rules here.
Will be 2. I will be Bob because I get to have 2 girls, and I will be Peggy because I will get to be hot.
Right. There you go. And you get to be Elle because you have 2 responses. So that's fine.
Period.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Elle. Where can folks find you if they want to talk about Bob or anything like that with you?
Twitter, baby. X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Yeah.
My handle is Lovely Elena, but instead of the O will be a 0. So L0VELYELENA. And you know it's me because my bio says Bob Dylan's controversially young girlfriend. So you know it's me. And I have a Taylor Swift profile pic.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Yeah, if you're looking for Elle, you'll just look through my timeline. You'll find our
No, if you want to look for me, just look for Bob Dylan pictures, like at Bob Dylan pictures quotes. I quote all of their pictures that they post.
Oh yeah, those are the best. I mean, that's like the joy of my day. Yeah, and I will just give you a little plug. The way I think you and I started interacting on Twitter was I started getting into your Swiftie Bob edits, which I have to say, if you're a Taylor Swift fan and a Bob Dylan fan, which I am, seeing clips of great Bob moments with overdubbed with Taylor Swift songs is quite an experience. So, Elle, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I just want to say that I've always wanted to be in a podcast.
You know, dreams come true on Songs of Experience.
Yeah, I will love Bob until the day I die. Period.
Me too. Me too. Thank you again so much, Elle.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to my guest, Elle Paniche. Please look for the next episode on the first day of the following month, found in all of your podcast feeds. Give us a follow on Twitter at Songs of Bob. If you're subscribing on Apple Podcasts, please take a moment to give us a subscribe, a rating, and a review so we can get the word out a little more. And if you'd like to see a video version of this podcast, please visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@songsofbobdylan. And of course, you can email us at songsofbobdylan@gmail.com. So I just want to say thank you again, and we'll see you next time.